We ran through checkpoints with Vitaly. Cigarettes, medicines, food for the guys. Is it a crime to kill for that?
He got into a fight, apparently drunk. There have been 4 searches, and we've had all sorts of people here. Luhansk residents, Russians, and Chechens.
It was very scary for all the eastern and southern territories, but Volodymyr Vakulenko was confident that his native Izium would be released and that his diary would be found. He did not say, "If our people come, you will give it back." He simply said, "When our people come, you will give it back."
Страшенно як жалко.
It's a terrible pity. A man has died.
Back and through their curls you could hear, "Everything will be Ukraine. I believe in victory."
Here is Volodymyr Vakulenko, Diary of the Occupation. You look into my soul, my son.
The road to success is like traveling through a tunnel. There is darkness everywhere and suddenly light. And you choose your options, go into the light or look for an alternative path. Because what lies behind that light may be a train from which there is nowhere to escape, but even in the tunnels, there is a small path that leads you to another light. It is only for those who sincerely believe that it should be there. Volodymyr Vakulenko, Ukrainian writer, in an interview with the Golden Pectoral magazine, November 2016.
Here's the book. We went to Kiev to present it. A presentation of this book. This is a posthumous book?
Дуже тяжко.
Oh, it's very hard. Such a person. Well, yes, he volunteered before the war.
Він з Віталіком бігали по блокпостам.
We ran through checkpoints with Vitaly. Cigarettes, medicine, some food to the guys. Is it a crime? Is it a crime to be killed for that? I don't know how cynical you have to be to kill.
Volodymyr Vakulenko is a novelist, poet, participant of the Revolution of Dignity, volunteer, and activist. He never hid his beliefs. He conflicts with others over language. He was a man of principle. He was also very fond of children, wrote poems and fairy tales for them. He had 2 sons from different marriages. The younger one, Vitaly, has had special needs since childhood. Volodymyr raised him on his own. The book Daddy's Book is dedicated to him, which the author has presented to children in different cities of Ukraine.
You're not going to have a drink. You're going to have soup or something. I've changed my mind. Redhead, I'll have borscht.
In the writer's native village of Kapytolivtsi, near Izium, the war began with massive air raids and bombings. The house where Volodymyr lived with his son and father was shattered by cluster munitions. In the summer of 2022, an enemy tank drove into the Vakulenkos' yard.
Воно то, звісно, було побите вже осколками.
Of course, the house was already smashed by debris, but when we were trying to get out, a tank came around the corner, demolished everything here, and pierced the wall of the house with its muzzle. Volodymyr's brother Anatoly lives there.
He got into a fight, apparently drunk. He got into a fight. Apparently he didn't fit into the curve and hit me. He drove in here, he drove out there.
But Vakulenko Jr. did not see this moment. On March 23, 2022, the Russian military came to his house, seized his books, and took Volodymyr and his son away. That day, he was severely beaten and released after 3 hours of interrogation. The next day, on March 24, the same military came for the writer again. Before that, Vakulenko managed to hide his diary, which he kept during the occupation, and ordered his father to give it to the Ukrainian military. His family never saw Volodymyr alive again.
I left a hole here and let the cherry tree stay like this. Well, he knew that they would take him away. He didn't want to leave. They told him to leave. He said, "They will not take me away, and I will plant a garden." There were 4 searches, and whoever was here. Luhansk residents, Russians, and Chechens checked it out. And here we were cooking. The pots were left unwashed. We had to throw them away. He said, "When our people come, you'll give it to the armed forces."
The mass grave in Izium, Kharkiv region, was found after the liberation of Kharkiv Oblast. Graves with wooden crosses in the middle of a pine forest. Many of them have numbers instead of names. The exhumation of more than 400 bodies of men, women, and children took more than a week. It was here that children's writer Volodymyr Vakulenko was buried under number 319. This was confirmed by the results of DNA testing. Experts found 2 bullets in the body, probably from a Makarov pistol. While they were searching for him, his mother still had hope that her son was alive, possibly in captivity.
My hope died. I remember that day well. An American journalist, Amanda Bailey, and her translator, Anton, came to see me. And when they arrived, they showed me a video of Volodya. How Volodya was found. His body. They took pictures and showed me. It was, of course, made as if it were in a fog, a spot on purpose. But I realized that it was him. They said that his tattoo was still there. Of course, the body was... Well, from March to May, you can only imagine lying in the open air. Then, when this funeral team took him away, they buried him in a mass grave in the forest.
Volodymyr Vakulenko was buried on December 6, 2022, at one of the city cemeteries in Kharkiv.
Oh, my fish, my darling. You are my star. You are my only child.
Vakulenko's diary was found by the writer Victoria Amelina, who was part of the Truth Hound search group documenting the crimes of the Russian military. She didn't know Volodymyr closely, but when she opened his manuscript, the first words were about Ukraine's victory. According to Amelina, Volodymyr's desire to keep the documents despite everything was a gesture to be heard and read, one last time. Therefore, the writer made every effort to get it published.
I thought about how strong Volodymyr Vakulenko was because he wrote these words on March 23 or earlier. In March, I was desperate. I didn't know what would happen to Kharkiv, Donetsk, and Luhansk. Of course, I knew that we would not let them take over the whole of Ukraine, but I was very scared for all the eastern and southern territories. But Volodymyr Vakulenko was sure that his native Izium would be liberated and that his diary would be found. He did not say, "If our people come, you will give it back." He simply said, "When our people come, you will give it back." And this is when such faith is very important, and we must always have it, because this war may be very long. As we know, it has been going on for centuries, but we must always have this faith and pass it on from generation to generation, no matter how pathetic it may sound.
Victoria Emelina became a close person to Volodymyr Vakulenko's parents. She was magnetically drawn to his capital. On one of her last visits, she gave her mother a book for children, but did not have time to sign it. On June 27, Victoria Emelina came under rocket fire in Kramatorsk. She passed away on July 1, 2023. It is symbolic that the writer Volodymyr Vakulenko was born on this day in 1972.
We had a very warm relationship with her, and Vic is terribly sorry. A person died in such a way in Russian. A ridiculous death. And a very unfair one at that.
His family gave the diary with Volodymyr's testimonies and thoughts to the Kharkiv Literary Museum for safekeeping. There it was dried and deciphered, and then it was published. The manuscript became part of the writer's posthumous book titled I Am Transformed, Diary of the Occupation, Selected Poems. The last entry in the diary is dated March 21, 2022. It is dedicated to the International Poetry Day and ends with words of support and faith in Ukraine.
Everything will be Ukraine. I believe in victory.
In early September, the publishers planned to present Volodymyr Vakulenko's book, I Am Transforming, in the writer's hometown on the anniversary of the deoccupation of Izium.